Longtime viewers of the channel will know that I like to periodically make collection pickups videos where I show things that I picked up and added to my collection in the last weeks or months. And I haven't actually done that for quite some time, largely because I started making shorts videos for a lot of my acquisitions that I felt could kind of stand on their own, and so I haven't had as much to add to this kind of video. But I do have a fair amount to show you now, and I thought I'd make that my final video for 2023. This first item here that you have in front of us is not actually a new thing. This is a little figure that I got back in 2019, but it's kind of a segue to what I'm going to show you next, so allow me to explain. This is made by Pickled Circus, who is an artist from England who has all kinds of very unique statues and figures like this that he creates, and many of them are kind of parodies of things like, you know, Star Wars or Nightmare Before Christmas, or, you know, that type of thing, but some of them are completely original as well. And I've just been really impressed with his stuff. I've been following him on Instagram for a long time and have quite enjoyed watching what he's been posting, but I have wanted in the back of my mind to get one of his Star Warped, as he calls it, figures, but haven't quite found something that made me want to pull the trigger. These are not cheap items, and so, you know, kind of want to make it special. But recently, he posted a new wave of Jabba's Palace figures, and naturally that piqued my interest, and I decided I would get a couple of them as a kind of Christmas gift to myself, I guess you'd say. So, I guess we're going to go ahead and show those off to you right now. Now, before I do that, though, let me explain briefly. This one right here is actually a cold cast bronze figure. What that means is that it's resin mixed with metal powder to give a metallic look that is kind of more realistically metal than maybe you would get with just paint or something. And it's also quite heavy. This also was, I think, available in a painted version, but the painted ones of his are quite a bit more expensive than the ones that are just a metallic or, you know, this kind of look. And so I decided when I got this one to get the non-painted one, and that decision kind of carried through on to the next ones that I'm going to show you as well for various reasons. So I decided just to kind of keep it with the faux bronze look. Anyway, the first one I'm going to show you is this guy right here, who is much larger than Jabba. As you can probably tell, he doesn't even quite fit in the frame, so let's move him back a little bit. This is the Gamorrean guard figure, or statue, I guess I should call it. Again, this is a cold cast bronze statue, but it's a little bit different from Jabba here in that Pickled Circus has started doing a special finish called verdigris, which is this sort of bluish, greenish corrosion, I guess you'd say, but it's been selectively placed. It's not just all over the whole thing. He only did it in areas that would be the Gamorrean's skin, which I think is really clever because it allows you to get a little color into what would otherwise be basically a monochromatic piece. So like on the back, you can see basically it's all just the faux metal look, and you can get this just in the faux metal look too if you like that better. But I thought this verdigris effect was really cool looking, and so that's what I went with. You can see, you know, I guess for a character like the Gamorrean, or the one that I'm going to be showing you in just a minute, having bluish or greenish skin works pretty well. He also added a little color for the eyes. He's got red eyes, and I can't quite tell, but I think maybe he's added a little like drop of resin or something to give them a little bit of three-dimensionality or translucence, because they look really cool. One of the pupils here is bigger than the other one, and that seems to be his signature look. You can see that also is the case with Jabba here, and also with the next character I'm going to show you. But yeah, I really like this caricature style he has here with the very small legs and much larger arms and body, and also just the facial expression on him is pretty awesome. Look at that. Really, really high level of detail also on this. If you were to look at just, anything, any part of this, there's all kinds of surface detail and weathering, and it just looks really, really good. I'm very impressed with this. And the other one I got is right here, Max Rebo. He's a little bit smaller, as he should be. I think these are probably more or less in scale. But he also uses the verdigris effect, and I think it looks really great, especially on Max Rebo, because he's, supposed to be blue anyway. But just look at this. Look at this style right here. We've got the mismatched eyes, and he looks like he's seen some things. Let's say that. But yeah, I really, really, really like this. Couldn't pass it up. I was tempted, of course, to get the full color versions of these. Unfortunately, the color version of the Gamorrean had already sold out by the time I got to the sale site, and so I kind of made up my mind for me in some sense, because I didn't really want to get mix and match. I kind of like having them both be the same style, and of course I already had this Jabba as well in more or less the same style, so I went with this. And the fact that the painted versions are, in this case, almost double the price also helped me make my decision, to be honest with you. But very, very impressed with these, as I say. Now, these are, as I say, coming from England, so you have to pay shipping on that. They're not cheap to begin with, so do bear that in mind. But they're really awesome original pieces of art, and I'm really glad I got them. I believe at least some version of the cold cast bronze of these two here are still available. I think probably both plain, so-called, and the verdigris versions are available. I'm not sure. I don't think, as I just mentioned, that this one, the painted version, is already sold out, and I'm not sure about Max. Last time I checked, I think there might have been one left of him in color, which is an awesome piece, to be sure. But yeah, I decided to go with the cold cast versions. Let me give you a quick view, by the way, of all of the characters that he released in this wave. It took me a while to decide what I wanted to get. Unfortunately, just not, financially possible to get all of them. So I decided to narrow it down to my favorites. But it's really cool that he has taken the time to make figures for some relatively obscure characters, such as Amenaman, and even Bib Fortuna is not exactly the most popular character in the world. So very impressed with these. I'll put links to his store and also his Instagram page in the video description. I also got some things from the Next 17. They are, of course, the company that's making Kenner style, 5-point of articulation vintage figures for new characters that had never been made in the past. So, for example, this is Jaquil, who I covered in a video about this wave a while back. You can see up there, but I'm bringing him out here to show you again because I decided I wanted to get the variant figure that they also made of him. So I ordered up this guy, who is the Sith version of Jaquil. Comes with a double-bladed lightsaber like Darth Maul's, and just sort of evil colors. But I thought he looked pretty cool, and I like the idea of having a Sith, another Sith character from Jabba's palace. They also made an Mon in Sith colors as well, so pretty cool. In addition, I mentioned in my last video about the Next 17 that when I was sent the figures that I was talking about then, these had not yet been made available, and so I couldn't get one. This is Goel, or they're calling it Warts and Slug. So I guess this is the Slug. He is, of course, just an alien guy who clings to the wall of Jabba's palace. I made a whole video about him if you want to see that there, but I really like this design, and I'm glad to have the only vintage styled version of him as well. So that's pretty cool. But in addition to these, he also sent along a couple of things, new releases that I'd like to show to you. These are, first of all, this one right here. I don't know if you can tell who that is. I think you can probably guess. He wants you to get out and work on those moisture evaporators, although they'll be hell to pay. This is, of course, Uncle Owen from A New Hope, new vintage style version of him. And I think it looks really good. I'm actually quite impressed with this, the face sculpt. I think it's recognizable. He comes with a droid collar, I guess, so you can have him, you know, do some deals with the Jawas if you like. So this is one that just was released, or announced anyway. And in addition, we have another character that is using the same body sculpt, I think. This is sort of another version of Farm Boy Luke, the one with the hat and poncho. You may recognize this from a deleted scene from A New Hope where Luke was wearing this outfit. He also comes with his macro binoculars. And of course you can remove the soft goods poncho, and that'll allow you to see how these are actually essentially the same body there. But I think, as usual, the Next 17 does a pretty good job of reusing things in ways that are not like super obvious, and I don't really find that they're a problem, generally speaking. It actually is a very intelligent way of doing it, and to try and keep the costs down a little bit. So anyway, these two are currently the newest figures in the range, I believe. He has a couple others, I believe, also that are yet to be released, or announced rather. We have 111 and 112 are these two, and then we got a couple here which we don't know what they are. If you want to know more, you can follow the Next 17 on various social media. I'll put those in the link description, and they've only just very recently started a YouTube channel as well, which is very cool, and he has some kind of amusing videos I've found. So, if you're interested in that, you can go and follow him on there as well, subscribe to him. So, yeah, that's about it for that. Our next item here is a mini bust from Gentle Giant. They seem to be the main suppliers of mini busts, just sort of in general. I don't know, maybe they're just not as popular as they once were, the mini bust format, but Gentle Giant's still sticking it with it. They have, in addition to Star Wars, some other things as well that they're making this kind of statue for. This one here was released, or at least sort of announced, on St. Patrick's Day for some reason. I mean, I guess there's the green connection there. That's about all I can think of. But anyway, it is the Gamorrean bodyguard from Book of Boba Fett. And take a bit of a closer look here. It's a nice sculpt. I would say it does a pretty decent job of recreating what we saw on the TV screen with the Gamorrean designs or costumes from Book of Boba Fett have been a little bit controversial, I would say. I am one of the people who feel like they look a little weird and off. Some people I've heard attribute that to maybe them making the Gamorrean makeup more of like a prosthetic kind of thing instead of a full-over face mask. I'm not sure if any of that's true, but someone said that. Regardless of the reason, they do look a little bit off compared to what we saw in Return of the Jedi, but as I say, this does a pretty good job of replicating that look. He has a kind of scimitar-like weapon here that attaches with a magnet to the side. It would have been nice if they had, at the very least, made two different weapons, maybe, so that if people really wanted to get like two bodyguards and put them on either side of Boba Fett, you could have a little variety there, but it is what it is. Overall, a pretty nice piece. Nothing that really blows me away, but yeah, it's hard to say no to a Gamorrean. One more item I got recently is this holiday set of figures, Holiday Jawa and Salacious Crumb in Christmassy festive colors. Of course, Hasbro has a whole line of sort of repainted figures, stormtroopers, various other things that have been redone into a holiday-themed paint job. And for the most part, I mean, I like them. I think they're kind of cool, but they're not really something I need to buy all of. But I couldn't resist getting one that was from Jabba's Palace. We have here, of course, the Jawa in, I guess, Santa-inspired clothing here, his robes. He's also got, I guess, a a snowman-inspired look for his blaster here. It's got white and orange, like for the carrot nose. Kind of clever. Then we have Salacious, who I guess I would interpret this to mean that he is the elf in this situation, kind of wearing the elf-like clothing. He's green with white stripes. Basically, you know, it's the same Salacious figure that we've gotten in the past, but I do like getting this kind of variant. These should still be available, I think, if you're interested. I made, if I can get this guy to stand up, I made a little tableau, a little holiday tableau using some, fake trees and also some 3D printed Christmas presents that I used for a video last year. So you can take a look at that here. I posted that on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, why not? You should go there and do that. But yeah, pretty cool. The other thing I got along the same vein, which is not really Star Wars related, but I kind of want to share it anyway, is this Father Christmas figure from the Four Horsemen. This is also in the 6-inch scale, and it's, of course, Santa Claus. Very detailed and ornate figure. He comes with all kinds of toys and things. He even comes with a little bag that includes a set of armor, so you could, I guess, redress him in partial armor. He's wearing armor also underneath his robes. So I just really thought this was a cool figure. This one was one that they released last year at Christmas time, and I didn't get it then. I stupidly put it on my want list for like family members to buy, and then nobody bought it for me. And I was like, oh, and then by the time I knew that, it was sold out. But they brought him back this year, so I got him for myself. Anyway, not available anymore, I'm afraid, but very cool figure. Next up, we have an item that just popped up on eBay randomly a few weeks ago. I'd never heard of it before, or this series before. It is a blind box figure from Beijing Pop Mart, so from China. I imagine it's not available elsewhere, but I don't actually know. It seems to be fully licensed and everything, though, which is interesting. Of course, who knows for sure, but it has all of these hologram stickers and stuff like that with Disney logos. So if it's not licensed, they're certainly going out of their way to make it look like it is. This comes in a blind box, as I said, and interestingly, just arrived literally a few minutes ago as I was recording this, so I have not taken a look at this. I did open it up briefly and found that actually inside the bag had not even been opened yet. So hopefully they got the right one, but I think they did. We've got a card, which we'll look at in a second, and a base, I guess. And yeah, we'll look at the other figures on the box in just a second, but first I wanted to look at the figure itself. It says, Pop Mart, make something fun. Interesting. So open him up, and sure enough, it is who I thought it was. It is Jabba himself. And this is a pretty nice figure, I'll have to say. He's holding a froggy snack there, which is really cool. I like that they did something a little bit different than they often do with Jabba. Seems to be very cleanly painted. I like this quite a bit. So he's got, as I say, if I can open this up, I don't know. Oh, it's perforated, good. He's got a little thing here. What is this? Is it actually a stand? I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks to be. We can go ahead and look at the other characters as well. You can see that they got Luke, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Jabba, Chewbacca, oops, get it in focus, Chewbacca, Han Solo, C-3PO, R2-D2, and then we have Stormtrooper Luke, Leia, Obi-Wan, a regular Stormtrooper, and a mystery figure who I cannot figure out who that is. Who could it possibly be? It's interesting though. They're all one out of 12 chance of getting it. So I imagine it's a box of 12 that you would buy. But this one here, whoever that could possibly be, is 1 out of 144. So you only get one per case of 12 boxes of 12 figures, which is pretty rare. I don't really plan to get any other ones, but still, they look like they're high quality. So we'll go ahead and put Jabba here on his little base. He doesn't actually attach to it in any way. You're just sort of placing him on it, but still, not bad. I also came with this card here that has Jabba, and this, by the way, is how you write Jabba in Chinese. I learned a while back. Jabba. I don't know how to do the tones for that, but it's pretty cool. And on this side, it just says Pop Mart, Star Wars, Disney, etc. So I'm not really, this doesn't have any actual use, really, except as a sort of collector's item, I guess, but still pretty cool to have. So I'm glad I was able to pick that guy up. Give one last look at him here. Nice. This next item is actually something that was sent into the channel as a kind of a gift from a British artist called Ian Last. He's made a couple of things for me in the past as well. Painting that I covered in a previous pickups video, I think. But this one here is a print of a painting that he did. He made a very small run of 10 prints of this sail barge painting that he made, and he very kindly sent one of them to me. As you can see, it shows Jabba and the rest of the guys there on the sail barge with Princess Leia and so forth. I really like this piece. It's got a mat around it, which may not show up very well against the white background, but yeah, it's pretty large in size. I can't even quite reach it from where I'm sitting. I had to put it way back on the far wall here. In addition to the poster itself, or the print, I should say, he did a remark, which is a small pencil drawing, which you can see there in the bottom right. And as you can probably tell, it's Jabba himself. I requested that. He asked me if I had a particular character I wanted to request, and it just seemed like it had to be Jabba, even though it maybe seemed a little redundant to have two of them in there. But yeah, he's very talented. I'm very impressed always with his kindness and generosity as well as his talent. So thank you very much, Ian Last. But in addition to this, he sent me a little bit of a surprise, which I also want to show you. This is a comic page for I guess a kind of webcomic that Ian did, reimagining the Jabba's Palace sequence as if it was starring Usagi Yojimbo, who is a character from comics in the 80s. I don't know, I haven't really followed him since then, but I remember him appearing around the time the original black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics came out, and there was some crossover there as well. But yeah, this basically is a samurai rabbit, and as you can see, he's taking the role of Luke, and he's kind of reaching for the guard's gun here with the Force. He gets it in his hand, points it at Jabba in this famous pose. But Jabba is too quick for him, and he hits the button for the Rancor pit, and down he goes into the Rancor pit. As I say, this is a single page out of a multi-page spread that he did using this whole concept here with Usagi Yojimbo, and I'll try and put a link to it in the video description. But I just really love this artwork, this comic-style artwork, and also with this cross-hatching. Reminds me of the old black and white comics I used to read as a kid, or probably as a teenager, more like. And yeah, I'm just really impressed with this artwork as well. So thanks so much, Ian, for sending this along. I really do appreciate it. Next up, we have this 3D printed Max Rebo. This was designed by Wexter, who has done a lot of sort of cute and interesting 3D designs that you can 3D print. And in fact, in a previous video, I showed one of his designs. It's this Jabba with a kind of, curving tail here. This one, I believe, is done in color changing filament, so you can see, you know, when it's colder or warmer, it'll change colors. But in this one here, this was actually printed using a printer that can do multiple colors, which is something that I don't have. Normally I would, you know, instead of buying something like this, which is what I did for this one, I would just print it myself. But I wanted to see what it would be like to print off this model in multiple colors, and instead of like painting it or something. So I got this from Great 3D Impressions on Etsy. They were selling these. And I'm not entirely sure which printer they used to print this off. I think it might have been a Bamboo Labs one, but I think it did a pretty good job. It's got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, I guess. So all of these, as I say, were printed at the same time using 5 different spools of filament. So it's pretty impressive that you can get such nice, clean results nowadays with this kind of multi-color model. And also it's a very cute model of Max Rebo as well. So yeah, check out Wexter and also Great 3D Impressions. I'll put links to them in the video description if you're interested. So I mentioned earlier that I followed a creator on Instagram for a long time and was a fan of their work. That was Pickled Circus, who did the statues I showed earlier. One other creator I really do enjoy, though, is called Jaredcircusbear. No relation, as far as I'm aware, despite the circus part of the name there. But yeah, Jaredcircusbear does these very, very amazing sort of customs of vinyl figures, like Monies. Those are bunny-shaped vinyl figures. But he takes them, does all kinds of scratch building of tiny little figures and things like that, and sets up these scenes using them. I'm really impressed with his work. Anyway, one day he posted that he had painted this model from Star Wars Imperial Assault. This is not one that he sculpted himself, but he did paint it, and I was really impressed with how well he did here. The level of detail and everything, I think, is considerably better than I could accomplish with this kind of model. I do have the unpainted version of this somewhere. I tried looking for it for this video, but I'm not sure what I did with it. But yeah, I always kind of had it in the back of my mind that I might try and paint that, but this is actually much better than I could do, so I decided to go ahead and get it from him, and I'm glad I did, because especially in person, the detail here is really outstanding. You can see on the bottom here, he signed it Jaredcircusbear, 1 of 123. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, or you'd like to see more of his work, I'll put a link of his Instagram account in the video description as well. This is a patch I recently got that was apparently given to members of the UK garrison of the 501st Legion when they had a kind of a bash, as they call it, Return of the Bash, a party at Celebration London in 2023. Shows Jabba here with almost like a blushing stormtrooper there in place of Leia, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, a pretty nice patch, and not a very common one to get, I imagine. And I guess my final item will be this item right here. This is a little miniature pizza box that says Pizza the Hutt on it. But inside, if we open it up, you can see there's actually an enamel pin, and it says Pizza the Hutt, Celebration Chicago 2019. I did a video about a bunch of Celebration Chicago merchandise that I got, but I didn't know about this one until it appeared on eBay one day a few months ago. So pretty cool. I was really glad to be able to get this, and I really like this design as well. Well, I'm glad that we've made it through another year, and you know, it's kind of amazing to me that I'm still here making Java-related content, however many years later it's been now. But you know, if you like the channel and you haven't subscribed, I don't ask this very often, but it would help me out if you could subscribe and, you know, do all that kind of good stuff. But aside from that, I just hope that you're enjoying your New Year's break. Hopefully you have a break of some kind. And let's hope that the new year brings better things. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next year. Thanks very much for watching. This video, like all my videos, was brought to you with the help of my Palace VIPs on Patreon, including Angelica Brady, Jesper Murtu, and all of my other patrons as well. If you'd like to know how you can support the channel for as little as $1 a month, you can check out the link in the video description.